The European Commission upholds the interests of the EU as a whole, and it's independent of member states. It is the EU's executive body. It proposes legislation, which is then presented to the Parliament and to Council. Legislation is informed by the principle of subsidiarity. Action will only be taken at the EU level if a matter cannot be resolved at a national, regional or local level. The Commission is also the EU's executive body, responsible for the management and implementation of EU policies. The Commission also enforces EU law. As guardian of the treaties, the Commission has the power to ensure that Member States are correctly implementing EU law. If necessary, the Commission can take a Member State to the European Court of Justice. Members of the Commission are nominated by the Union Member States and approved by the European Parliament. The Council of the European Union represents the interests of Member States. This is reflected in the composition of the body. Its meetings are attended by members from the Member States who represents the interests of their states in the matter under discussion. The Council also has a role to play in legislation. Its remit extends to coordinating the economic policies of Member States. Through the open method of coordination, the Council encourages the coordination of national policies in health, education and welfare. The Council's remit extends over international coordination of legal systems and the policing of the Union. The European Parliament represents the interests of the citizens of Europe. It is directly elected every 5 years. The European Parliament plays a central role in the creation of legislation, thus guaranteeing the legitimacy of European law. It also has powers of supervision over EU institutions, and the Commission is accountable to Parliament. The European Parliament, alongside the Council, also has authority over the Union's budget and can influence decisions on how money is to be spent. The European Court of Justice was set up in 1952. It has the power to interpret EU legislation and ensure its uniform application throughout the Union. The latter function is carried out through the preliminary ruling procedure, which enables, and in some instances requires, national courts to apply to the court for a preliminary ruling on the interpretation of EU law. Its powers extend to ensuring that both Member States and institutions act within the law, and it can also adjudicate disputes between Member States. Its composition reflects the fact that it is a court of a union whose members have different legal traditions. I also want to make a couple of points at this stage, which are really for clarification or amplification. It's worth noting that the European Economic Community has experienced a number of name changes. The Treaty on European Union in 1993 changed the name of the European Community to the European Union. This can be somewhat confusing, as it's often unclear as to whether one should be referring to the community or the union. I'm going to use the term union. I think my practice has been to use the term union throughout, but I'm hoping that everybody is aware that, as I say, that there is a name change, there has been a name change at stake here. So let's just recap. The institutions of the Union achieve two main functions. They create a system of government for the Union as a supranational entity and allow the interests of Member States to be taken into account in the creation of policy and the governance of the Union.